Yo, 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 what's good? Sorry for the long wait. If there are people out here following this tier list, I know it's been a while. Just been busy. I had surgery in my mouth, so I couldn't even really talk for a minute. Um so I'm gonna kind of just skip on to doing the tier list. If you need to know the rules, you need to know what's going on. Just go back to the first two videos. I'll put the links down below, kind of explaining this tier list. All I'm gonna really say is it's just going down, tearing the games of this last decade from 2010 and 2020. They're the only games I won't really put on here. Um, or maybe later I might come back and make like an extra an an kind of like an extra episode adding adding games like Marvel's Marvel's Spider-Man Spider-Man's Miles Morales, uh Marvel's Avengers, and any other kind of hero game that came out, um just so I can, cuz just to finish off the decade, um cuz after 2021 it's going to be it's gonna be a whole like, I mean, it is a new decade. 2020 is considered a new decade, but you know how it works when it comes to this stuff. Every 10 years, stuff changes. So these games that we're seeing in this last decade right now, they can be one of a kind, or they can be one of a dud. But let's get started. This one, it's kind of it's kind of hard to say. Um, it's a good game. Um, And just to let y'all know, heads up, cut off. Um, this is gonna be Lego heavy right now. All the games that I have that's listed that's next are gonna be Lego heavy. So just to put it out there. But the one that I'm talking about right now is Batman 2 Lego DC Heroes. The reason why I'm putting it in Sidekick and I'm not putting it in Super, because it's a super caliber game. Like, don't get me wrong, but the first one was cool because it was a Batman game. Like, it had just Batman and his rogues gallery, and you're playing with Batman and his rogues gallery. DC superheroes was cool. Uh, to me, I don't understand. Like, like they say, Batman sells games. But like for me, it's like you named it Batman 2, but it's really heavy towards, not too heavy, but it's heavy towards the other superheroes. And I mean, the plot makes sense for it. Like, it all begins with, Batman and Lex Luthor going up for Man of the Year award, and when there's Lex Luthor, there's Superman. Um and and everybody knows who the better business businessman uh is, the one that cares and donates his money to help the world, the planet, when Lex is kind of the one that really, like, he could pull a front, but for a fact that his motives are somewhere else, and so he's not gonna win. Bruce Wayne wins it, and he doesn't take too kindly to it. So that's how it pretty much, goes off. Bat, and then we're, just like where there's Batman, and there's Joker. So it pretty much starts from the beginning, it starts from the end of the first game where Joker's locked up and Lex Luthor breaks him out, teams up, and that's pretty much how it goes. I'm not gonna try to ruin the story for you guys if you haven't played it, um, but it's interesting. So like all the other heroes, they needed to help, I guess, against Joker and Lex Luthor, and they get other little villains here involved, but the two main villains are Joker and Lex Luthor. Period. Um, to me, Batman 3 does a better job of including other villains, including other heroes into the story. To me, it's just it does a better job of what it was trying to do on the second one. So saying that, to me, just because 1 and 3 do a better job, I feel like, because 1 is nowhere close to being as massive as 2 and 3. But like I said, I like the fact that you feel like to me when I was playing it, I felt like I was playing a Lego version of Arkham because it was Batman and it was just Batman, and you're playing with his and then after you beat the game, you get to play with his rogues gallery. You get to play with him in different throughout the years outfits, like the Adam West Batman and the '90s Batman. So it's pretty cool when it comes to that. The second one kind of it watered down the Gotham aspect of the game. So like the main focus is Batman. I mean, his name's in the title, but like of course like the game is him pretty much most of the time, but you always get Superman coming in trying to steal his shine, and it's funny because like you can see the irritation in Batman, like Batman knows he's trying to steal his shine in his own game. So yeah, that's the thing about it. Uh, I really didn't really like, but now saying that 3, I feel like goes in super because I mean it's just it does everything really really well. Like it's pretty much what like if you played the Lego Marvel superhero game, it's pretty much that, but DC. So you have all you have almost every DC superhero that you could think of. Even like I think you can even play with like Booster Gold, uh, Black Lightning. Like you could play with a couple of heroes that are not even part of the story. Like it's pretty cool. Villains too. So you got villains like I think you have like Captain Boomerang. Like you have villains that's really cool. So, cause like to me, I felt like when on the second one, they should have just did what they did on the third one. Like they held back in that aspect of just putting these characters in the game. Like if you're gonna add this, if you're gonna add the other heroes on there, stealing his shine, and then have a couple of the villains trying to team up against Batman, because for a minute, you know how Batman is. He didn't want no help from Superman until he was like, all right, let's call Superman because this is getting out of hand. But other than that, like Batman 3 was cool, man. I think this one, like, yeah, you go out, you go into outer space. It all starts, and it's cool because instead of just, because I think in the second one you have, I think you do have Hal Jordan, but on the third one it adds all the different cores together, and you're pretty much battling. You're helping to battling these the bad guy course. So like in the beginning, it's like it's funny because it's like 3 on 3. So it's like the three good cores against the three bad cores. So you had like the Red Lanterns teaming up with the Yellow Lanterns and the I forgot what the Orange Lantern is called, but you team up like those three are like the main, pretty much the main antagonist, and then you have the good ones like green, blue, and then violet. But the violet ones, I forgot they have a certain name too. And what really with them, and we could probably talk about this later because the violet lanterns kind of bug me in a sense. Like okay, like I don't have a problem with them being all female, and I think there is a couple of guys in the group if you read the comics. But sometimes it depends on who's telling the story. It depends on the media, but they're either good or they're bad. Because I've seen times where Hal Jordan has had issues with them. Because like I like the Green Lantern story, so like I try to read it as much as I can. I really don't like Hal Jordan is not even my top five of lanterns, but I like to read the story because Space Cop pretty cool. And there's times where like there was one I know there's one major arc where they use Hal's girlfriend from Earth, or they give her a ring and turn her against him. So like if you watch like like that's one of the plots. Like if you watch the animated Green Lantern series back in the day, the the CG 3D animation one was, which is really good. I recommend you guys watch it if you haven't seen it. That was one of the plots, bro. So like for like when they made them good guys, I was like, because like if you think about it, there's not too many good There's not too many good core lanterns. There's blue and green, and then you got white, which is OP. They're like God status, so you don't really see them too often. But like if you look at the other side of the spectrum, you got black, red, orange, and then you got the violet that I guess goes back and forth. But anyway, I'm not gonna ruin too much of the story for you. That but that right there got me interested. Like story wise, it's better. Um, cause like Batman 2, it's like how many times have we seen this Joker and Lex Luthor team up to get rid of too often. I've seen it in every aspect of media, video games, movies, animation, And matter of fact, like the live action Justice League was heading to that direction, like because uh, which I wish they would give it. I wish they would. I hope they do that, but they're supposed to do the Injustice League because at the end I'm not gonna ruin it, but at the end of Justice League, if you do decide to watch it, um, because I'm waiting for the Snyder's cut to come on HBO Max so I can, because they say that the Snyder's cut makes you understand and makes you realize how good it actually really is, but We'll see. This next one, I'm gonna have to put in super. The only reason why, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, cause DC villains is pretty much like Batman 3. Um, the reason why it gets on super though, it's because you get to customize your own villain. So you get to make your own villain, like literally free to customize any way that you see fit, the way you look. And it also has a good bad system. And you get to choose at the end of the game whether you want to be a hero or a bad guy. And not bad guy. And that's not really ruining it for you because the story is really good too. So like just just like it's really cool, man, and I like the concept. And then they brought back the old school concept of the non-talking protagonist. Like me, I'm always been a fan of the no talking. It always makes you feel like the hero is more of a just a bad, like it makes you feel like, without trying, I'm trying not to cuss, but you get what I'm saying, like a bad dude. Hey, there's something about like the non-talking protagonist. Like I liked it. Like whenever I played like Grand Theft Auto 3, I always thought it was cool that he didn't talk. Kind of got his jobs, did his business, came back. But yeah, that's like, to me, was really cool. And then I think you get the, like, as the game goes on, you building your abilities and stuff. So it's pretty dope, man. It's a real cool concept. I feel like for Lego, like it's like a triple A title concept on a beloved brand that their games sell, but they're not making triple A titles. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, to me, DC villains in the DC aspect of the games is probably the best DC Lego game made. Um, I take DC villains over anything else. Um, but it all depends. Like if you want to play with most of the villains for during the story mode most of the time, then it's cool for you. If you want to play with most of the heroes most of the time, Batman 3 is for you. Um, to me, the best Lego game of all time, though, I'm gonna have to go with Lego Dimensions. Yeah, Lego Dimensions, man, is where it's at. Like, I really have nothing too much to say about this. You're pretty much playing, like, just think back when you used to play in your Legos in your toy box. That's pretty much what it is. And you got your DC heroes. I think you even have other heroes on there. Like you got like the Powerpuff Girls. You got the Simpsons. Like you got all different brands battling it out under the Lego brand, which is pretty dope. Cause like when you play in the toy box, like, and your parents buy you different, and like, and you have You have Batman punch Homer Simpson. Now you can do it video game form, which to me is dope. It's really dope. Uh, Let me check my notes, cause I know that I wrote down. I wrote down some interesting facts. Yeah, they were gonna make a third season and then they canceled it. That's the only thing I really wrote down, but there's just so much going on, man. So I think Ninja Turtles is on there. Like the only thing that I have to say that I felt like I don't know. We might have to do a DC one day. Do a DC or do Disney Interactive versus Lego Dimensions. Cause both of those games are great. Like the thing about Lego Dimensions though, you can create your own worlds though. Like you can build your own worlds. It's dope. Like me, I wish I would have played like I played it here and there. I played demos. I wish I would have gotten it and gotten all the Lego. Now it's kind of too late. Like I'm pretty sure the servers are closed. Just like a lot of these good games that are online based, these good hero games that are online based. It's too late, man. It's too late. But anyway, let's go on. This is the last Lego game. And this one had to I had to put it super because uh the first one was good, but then the second one just and had it went nuts. You know what I'm saying? It just went nuts and added all kinds of content. Cause now, this is around the time where they started like Marvel's. Cause like I'm not saying that they're not, but not now. But Marvel be into the other dimensions. Cause they've always had it, but now they're on it hard. This is the beginning of that. Coming out in November 14, 2017. I felt like around this time, Marvel just any way to get Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, aka Ghost Spider, all to be together. Marvel would do anything to get all those spider people to work with Peter Parker. Because if you ever noticed that in Marvel, they always the stories are always around Spider-Man, the dimensional stories. Like he's always the focal point. Um, so superhero, Marvel Superheroes 2 is that's exactly what it is because I think you get to play with almost every Spider-Man. Not every because there's a crazy amount of Spider-Mans. There's Spider-Mans that they don't even use. There's Spider-Mans that they only use for background Spider-Man during this time. But like the maybe like the 6 to 8 So I forgot how many that there was that's in this game, but like the 6 to 8 main focused ones. So you got Miles, you got Gwen, you got Spider-Man, 2099, you got Peter Parker, you got Scarlet. Like you, anything to get, because they know Spider-Man sells. But then like you also have like the different, you got different Hulks. You got different Iron Man. You got all kinds of stuff going on because of the dimensional rift they have to try to fix. Because it's all about dimensional rift, time travel. Because I think, because it's not only like dimensions, it's time travel. Because, like, I think also too, like, because it's weird. Like, because Spider Man Noir, he's in a different time period, but also in a different dimension. So there you go. Only Marvel. Um, cause I mean, Marvel's good at telling those stories, those time travel, different dimensions. When DC's always been good at galactic, I feel like galactic adventures, bigger than big, over the top, like not even just their universe, all universes ending, climactic, battle to the end type stuff. And don't get me wrong, Marvel has those too, but DC, man, DC will go on to destroy those universes to reboot. Marvel will pull the trigger like that, but DC will, and you have to respect that. So I'm gonna move on from Legos. Finally, something else. And I love my Lego games, but let's move it on. Oh, baby. Let's move it on. Yeah, I'm sorry. that medicine, that medicine that I have to take cuz my mouth, it's got me kind of just the last couple of days has had me just out of it. But anyway, let me read my notes here. Let me read my notes here. Uh, so this next game, I don't want to reveal it yet. I don't want to reveal it yet. But I think it might have been M, uh, an MMO Marvel game that it fell off because of the Disney merger. But like it was really liked, I think. Yeah, it was an MMO, and like I was watching footage on this game. Like this game was freaking amazing. Like the only thing I didn't like about it, instead of going like the DC online route and having you create your own hero, you kind of you kind of use the other heroes and you use them, and then like if you want Spider-Man, you gotta hustle to get Spider-Man or just flat out buy him with real currency. So I didn't. That's the one thing I'm gonna have to say I didn't like about it, and I can't. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I can't put it. I can't put it up with DC Online. But it like when I was watching the gameplay, I was watching like the story itself is pretty cool. It's another, it's one of those stories where Doctor uh Doctor Doctor Doom, starts being himself and doing his I am better than you. I know how to control things that obviously no human being, even with his intellect and how high his IQ is, decides he wants to kill the Watcher with the cosmic cube. I'm gonna leave it there. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. Go watch someone play it on YouTube. Now that's all you really can do. It's a good story. Um, so yeah, pretty much just think about DC Online, but with Marvel, and not be able to create. But it's cool. I mean, like you can get different outfits for your Spider-Man. Like say if you want, like say if you put out the cheese to get Spider-Man, you can play with any, any of his thousands, millions of hundreds of different outfits, and then also too like, you can get him like you can also like you get certain power levels of web shooters, and it's just legit, man. And same with Captain America, you can get different out, different his you can switch off it. You can do World War II Cap. You can get different shields, different looking shields. It's cool, man. I just hate that, like, cause like me, believe it or not, I was against the Disney merger, but I became a slow fan seeing the really good job that they did with the live action side of the universe. But like I hate that it hurt every other aspect of the Marvel universe, cuz like the animated shows are not nowhere close to being, cuz like for example, if you look at all the animated shows before they went on Disney, or before they got bought up by Disney, because some of these IPs, or some of these people, some of these things Disney actually bought with the merger are way better than animations than they're coming out with now on Disney. Because the new Spider-Man, the both of them, like Spider-Man and his the webbed heroes or whatever it was called, that one is not any good. Drake Bell gets annoying sometimes. Um, I almost forgot. I gotta put this up here, but I'm gonna put it in Sidekick. I'm over here rambling on. Um, Drake Bell, he, and then this new one, like the stories are just like the story's not bad, but I hated how they tried to reinvent the Superior Spider-Man story angle. It was just really bad. It's really dumb. I don't know what to say too much about it. I just how I felt how it ended. Like it made me want to go watch the third season, but at the same time, it was like you only had him be like you went all out and made Peter lose his body, and he was and Doc Ock was only in his body for like 3 episodes. I felt like maybe 3 or 4. I can't remember, but it was just bad. And then you go and look back, the last really good Spider-Man animation was Spectacular. But I think Sony owns the rights to Spectacular. I don't remember who owns the rights, but for some reason it's not on Disney Plus, and it probably won't ever be. And the only way that you can get it if you have Amazon Prime, and you have to buy it, and it's like to get the HD version of it, it's like $30 for one season. Well, no, I think if you get the, I think if you buy the $30 one, I think you get all the seasons. I don't remember. I just know that Disney had fallen outs with some of these like these video games too, man. Like to me, I feel like they still need to do for DC Online to still be running strong right now. Marvel really needs to put their foot in that field, man. Like now Marvel fans, like me, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm gonna admit it. I'm a Marvel super fan, and it's funny because I actually like more. I like you if you. I have more DC heroes in my favorites, especially in my not more DC heroes in my favorites. Like if you look at my top five, it's mostly DC heroes, other than Spider Man and Captain America in my top. I think Captain America might be in my top. Anyway, that's a list for another day. Um, yeah, it's just I'm a fan. Like I grew to be a fan of it, but I still hate that it hurt just certain aspects of the Marvel universe. Because even the Iron Man show that was on Nickelodeon was great. That was some good shit. Excuse me, some good stuff. Man, that's how good it was. That's how good it was, man. It made me just woo. Anyway, yeah, man. The Iron Man. But you know what's cool about the Iron Man from like Disney ended up with the rights to that. So I be watching it on Disney Plus. Uh, but yeah, the only thing I feel like they do any good with in the animations is the Avengers cartoons, and then even then, it's like eh, like I feel like it's forced to be good because Avengers is their money making property, man. Like they're gonna try to force that down our throats all the time. That's the reason why it took them so long, and finally they decided to make an Avengers game. Because actually, matter of fact, there was supposed to be an Avengers game for the movie, and thank God, knowing how how bad movie game tie-ins can be, that they didn't they waited off to make this and make it his own story, because if they would have made that and it would have came out bad, people would have been hesitant to go get this game, to be excited about this game. So some new and fresh, which I'm excited for. Um, Man, the beta. And matter of fact, I'm gonna be streaming the beta. Um, the beta comes out August for PlayStation 4 people or PlayStation people. It comes out like August 6th, and then the next week for Xbox and PC, and then at the end of the month it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be for everything or anything that's gonna be on. So I think they might make it cross play, because it's gonna be one of those games where like your player levels up and you get to team up with other people and their Hulk. Cause say if you pick Captain America, you pick Iron Man. You'll play with that person's Hulk or that person's Black Widow, which is cool. Moving on though. Oh, this is one game I feel. Two, this game is it hit. It's the same thing happened. The same thing pretty much happened with Marvel. Same thing that happened with Marvel Heroes. It's the same thing that happened with this one. This game right here. I'm gonna have to add this. Uh, the reason why I'm adding it to Sidekick, the only reason why I'm adding it to, because I couldn't stand the show, but for the show to be what it was in the game, like it's dope that they made it online. They made Superhero Squad online, which is pretty cool, man. Uh, it's made by the same people, matter of fact. It's made by Galzon was it Gazillion? Gazillion Entertainment. And what really got me, they put in work for this. They put in work for this, bro. Cause, bro, they recorded over 3,000 voices for the game. Insanity. Um, but like I said, this was one of the victims. This game was one of the victims of Disney buying out Marvel, and Disney kind of not, you know, meshing well with the company that was making these games. Um, because the one thing about Disney is Disney thinks that because they put their hands on it, it's just gonna make money, or it's gonna be a better product. That's not always the case. I feel like they should have worked things out with certain companies, knowing that certain things, man, was gonna make them money. Like to me, to me, stopping the production of Marvel Heroes and Superhero Marvel Superhero Squad Online, they're losing money. And I know and I know what people are saying. Like, what do you mean they're losing money? They stopped it, and to me, in a sense, they're losing money that they could have made. Cause man, like I said, Marvel Heroes is just to me was an awesome concept. Other than not allowing your player or the person that's playing the game to create their hero from scratch. And the reason why I'm putting Superhero Squad on there too is because Superhero Squad is in the same boat. Superhero Squad, they didn't have free to, but it's a cool game because it's pretty much it's pretty much a watered down version of Heroes. Um, Pretty much for kids. It's fun for adults too. Um, because I know a couple of adults that were saying that yeah, it's a pretty good, well made game. So let me look up some stuff real quick on it. Yeah, cause I actually watched a video of somebody talking about how much they missed it and how fun it was, and it was cool. Like looking at it, like all the heroes and villains and stuff you got to play with. And it's pretty much like it's one of those games. Like if you like, Dynasty Warriors and you like to beat up a wave of enemies, that's pretty much what it is, because you pretty much just beating the crap out of a bunch of doom bots and earning and gaining new outfits, skill sets, such etc. etc. But let me move on. Let me move on. All right, let me. All right. So I'm putting Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on Super. Um, it's nowhere. I mean, I'm probably being biased, because when the first two came out, I was a young, I was a youngster. Of course, as what older people do, we always think that from our generation is going to be better. I mean, like, put it this way. I'm always going to think Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man ever, live action ever. But the truth of the matter is, the guy that's playing him now, uh, his name is playing him now is Tom Holland. Tom Holland is the best, hands down. I mean, Tobey Maguire is always, to me, he's always going to be the best, and that's just the bias. Old, old mind. You know how old people are, how how we can, or how I'm starting to be. We're always going to think what was back in the day was always going to be better than now. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not going to take from that guy. Tom Holland is probably the best Spider-Man I've ever seen on a big screen or any screen. He to me he's and the reason why is because he plays Peter Parker to perfection. Perfection. I'm sorry. Perfection. Per. Like, come on, like Tom Holland wasn't, like, he played nerdy, but he was kind of like those ones that was like the kid that kind of was like in the corner, and like he was smart, but like he was kind of the loner. Like, cause if you looked at the beginning of the first movie, he didn't really have no friends. He didn't have no friends. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, Harry, the only time you see Harry, I think meet Harry after they graduate. Like, 'cause he comes up to him when yeah. But like when he was getting beat up, or when he was about to get beat up by bullies, or in the bus, he was always to fend for him, not fend for himself, kind of take it by himself. It wasn't no friend to come in, like Mary Jane, kind of, being his neighbor and doing the right thing was, But then she went off with her boyfriend like nothing happened. Like, anyway, this Peter, to me, is the right Peter. He plays the right. Tom Holland plays the right Peter. He does, because Peter. I feel like Peter is the type of nerd where he has friends, but he has friends that are into what he's into. You know what I'm saying? Um, or like Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy, people that understand him, or they next door neighbors, and he understands what problems they had, and his family helped his family, stuff like that. I like that story. Like from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, you wouldn't even know that Flash was his, because like Flash and him used to be friends as kids. You wouldn't even have known that, how much Flash was a jerk to him. But anyway, like like every other aspect of Flash, and don't even get me started. The worst Flash ever is his Tom Holland's Flash is horrible, but Flash in every other aspect, like he always shown some little lightheartedness towards Peter when no one's looking, or like even when someone's looking, he knows not to go too far with Peter because they used to have that relationship. Anyway, Tom, and then I don't know, just he plays a good, like he plays both worlds really well. Him being, especially being like just new into the hero game, I like that Spidey, where he's kind of just like innocent. Like he quips, but like sometimes like if he quips, he'll say something. Oh, he like, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean. I hope that didn't hurt you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like when he was going up against Captain America, and like he's, oh man, you might hear, like, I like that, man. I love that. People hate it, but I loved it, bro. Like, anyway, this is not about the Spider-Man. We could do that too. Cause I love Spider-Man. I loved all the versions of Spider-Man. Cause the even Andrew Garfield brought some stuff to the table. I felt like um, Tom Holland. I felt like Tom Holland studied both of them, and he took the best off of both of those guys, and created the best. You know, um, that's the reason why Sony's like, we have to keep, like, because Sony for a minute drunk the retard juice, and was trying was gonna try to make some Spider-Man stuff on their movies on their own, and ruin it for the story for the fans, and kind of ruin their company. Because like I said, I wasn't gonna support. I was telling people when it happened, I'm finna not support it unless they do something so drastic, to the sense that they make a live action Spideyverse movie where you get to see Spider Gwen and Miles Morales, and it really would have got me into it. Like, not only that, they would have had the Gwen Stacy also would have had to be Emma Stone. It had to be. It would have had to be in the story. But like I said, I got it. I'm talking about games. I'm not talking about the movies. We could have this discussion later. Like, I want to try to get people into this discussion. So if you hit me up down low and you think you want to be a part of the you want to be part of it, because I'm thinking about doing like a podcast about this stuff. You want to be part of my podcast, like, cause I want to do where I want to get people that subscribe, maybe chances every week to be a part of the discussion or be part of certain discussions. Um, once I can get this, this, figure out this streaming podcasting thing. But yeah. Oh man. But I didn't even talk about the game. And yeah, I'm about to move on tonight. Oh yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is cool. I'm putting it up with Super because I like that they rebooted the game, actually. Like, instead of, because the second one, man, the second one and the second one by a hair is a little bit better. Actually, I don't know. I feel like Ultimate Alliance 3 is probably better. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't really played it, and I'm going to play it now because now I finally own a Nintendo Switch. Because they made the Ultimate Alliance an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. Um, But the second one, I felt like the story was. I felt like it was cool that they tried to do the Civil War story. It was just too short, and it didn't have enough content for me. Like if you play the first one it has so much replay value. It's silly. The game is about. I feel like it's maybe 80 hours of gameplay. Like you're not gonna finish the first one in a day. Like you might like if you play it nonstop, not nonstop, but if you play it maybe like 10 hours every day for a week or two, you'll probably finish it. But it takes a while to finish that game, and then there's other. I think there's other ways to get to the ending too. So there's other branching paths. The second one was just like a straightforward story telling you what everybody already knows about Civil War, and it depends on which side you take. It tells the it tells it tells a different story. Like I think if you choose, and it depends on who you choose. So like if you choose Spider-Man to be part of Captain America's team, it's a totally different story. So there's a couple of stories. It's just like I think if you make Spider-Man join Iron Man's side, like because you know you're a Spider-Man fan, you want Spider-Man to be on your side, but if you feel like you like Captain America's what he's fighting for, then you know because you know in the comic book Spider-Man joins Iron Man's side because Spider-Man's gonna end up joining Captain America's side. But if you have on his side from the beginning, it's a totally different story from the beginning. But then it starts to be it's one of those stories where the beginning is different, and then once you get to like I think once you get to like the prison world or whatever, that's when it starts to be the story intertwines with each other and it's one straight narrow path. Um, because you know Spider-Man's pretty much the focal point of that story, or one of the focal points. Because like if you read the comic books, he's the focal point um, of giving out his secret identity and stuff like that. But the third one, I like that they decided to just scrap all that and start over. But you know, they had to do they had to do the Thanos because this is around the time uh this is pretty much after the snap. So you know everybody's on that Thanos uh tip, man. So um in the Dark Order. So it's cool in the sense like that. Um I also put it in super because you also get this is the first time you get to play with Gwen and Miles in a video game setting. Uh because believe it or not, Miles Morales is not the first time Spider-Man, Miles Morales is going to be played as a video game. So um, Gwen is cool because I think the Gwen Stacy Spider-Man Ghost Spider has the coolest Spider-Man costume to date. The color scheme, the look, everything about it is just dope. The hoodie, she's just dope, man. But yeah, so you're pretty much trying to fight Thanos. It's the same old story. Trying to fight Thanos to get the gems, the soul gems. Um, and like I don't know, that takes to me like they did a different story, but they didn't. It's the same story we've been hearing for the last 4 years. Um, but it's cool to kind of play it out. It's cool because you got the X Men in it, so that's a plus too. Is you know because you know how you know after the Disney merger, you know with Marvel, you couldn't really get Wolverine to be next to Spider Man unless it was animation. So that's cool. That's the reason why to me Ultimate was a hard decision to put in Super. Um, it really should be in Sidekick, but like just for the fact that you can play with the different Spider Man, the different the different the X-Men like Cyclops and Wolverine and Beast and Nightcrawler is cool to me because the X Men, like I'm not too much. I've never really been an Avengers fan. Like I like the Avengers, but I've always been an X Men person. Like I'm picking the X Men over the Avengers any day. And to scratch what I said earlier, I forgot. I even said it earlier. Miles Morales was on Superhero Marvel's Legos too, so it's the second time you get to play with Miles Morales, and the second time you get to play with Gwen as a playable. I think you also might be able to play with them in Disney. I think you get to play with at least Gwen Stacy in Infinity, but it's cool, man. It's cool that you get to go back to the old, and then they went back to their roots too. It's like and they not perfected it, but they went back and made it better. Like the formula is better because I played some demos of it. I've seen some gameplay of it. I didn't want to get too much into gameplay because I want to play the story for myself. But you know, to me, it was all you had to say was Thanos. Because the what else like the story is the same old story, but it's cool that you got you get to go up against this Dark Order too. Instead of just him, like you know, there's games that you go up against him, but it's cool that you get to go up against this Dark Order. That's cool too. So the story for me is kind of like, uh, like you know, going back and forth, leaning back and forth for me. Um, but like just adding the X Men and the Fantastic Four and all the families just back together makes it puts it in super for me. And just being a classic IP, bringing back the great Ultimate, because like bro, I was waiting for Ultimate Alliance for years, man. And they decided to wait. You know, it took long. It took them about 8 years to make a new one. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Ultimate Alliance should be on like 4 or 5 now. Um, it's kind of cool. Like I feel like it's kind of cool if they do it like that. Like you know, make it a thing. Maybe every 4 years, make it a thing. But because make people like me who's been waiting for it be like, oh yeah, you know. Uh, at the same time, you know, exclusives sell. Like I feel like when Nintendo decides to make the Switch 2, um, that's gonna be one of those at release day titles. So that's not Mario. That's gonna bring people that are not necessarily Mario, you know, in to get the Switch to play Mario and all that stuff. They're into it for the handheld and the third party games that you could play handheld that you can't like that you can play on PlayStation, but you can't take a PlayStation with you, or an Xbox with you. And Ultimate Alliance is one of those games. Ultimate Alliance 3 is going to be one of those games that's going to bring people from it's going to bring people from Xbox and PlayStation to buy their console to say, especially fans like me, fanboy Marvel fanboys like me, who the one of the because like I always wanted a Nintendo Switch, but it pushed me to get it even more when they put Ultimate Alliance 3 because when it came out I was actually gonna buy it, but then you know, uh, stuff always happens in life. So I'm just glad that I have one now. I'll give feedback on it. I'll give feedback on it after I play it. Maybe when I do the extra episode, I'll probably throw in like a good 3 minute feedback on it. Um, just got to remind me, or I'll try to remember. I'll probably remember because I'm just hyped, man. I'm waiting for payday so I can buy this game. All right along with Smash, but I you know I'm over 4 minutes of my time that I want to spend making these episodes. So until we meet again, this is your boy Jay. Peace.